Hello, and welcome back to my channel. It's a new year now. Happy 2025. It definitely feels weird to say that. I feel like that's the most common thing at the start of every new year. I never remember to say or write that it's 2025 now. This is my first video back from a break I took after Vlogmas. I did 12 days of vlogs in December, and then I took some time off to enjoy time with my family and a break from school. Then I'm excited now to be back. It gave me some good time to sort of prep, brainstorm, come up with some great ideas for this year, and it was also just nice to have some relaxing time, spend some time with the family. I was with my parents and my sister, and that was super fun. But now I'm super excited to be back, to be filming, to be talking with you all again. I'm really excited for a fun year of growth and trying new things, and I think with that we should just get started. Since it's a new year, I wanted to try some new things, so I figured that this would be a fun video to try some new makeup for the new year. I have a few new products and then a few of my old favorites that I just obviously had to mix in there, so I'm going to try it all out while I chat with you guys today. If you also like makeup, maybe you got a lot of makeup for the holidays, maybe you gave some makeup gifts and got all those good reward points that you can cash in for some new products. I just love trying out new products in January. It feels like a fun, fresh start to remind myself what are my favorites and where do I want sort of a refresh in my routine. The first new item that I got to try is this POREfessional by Benefit, but this is their hydrating primer. I use and I really like the pore minimizing primer that they have, but my skin's been extra dry recently since it's still pretty cold and dry and wintry. So I figured a hydrating primer would be a good first step as a base. I have nails on, so I can never open these little peely tabs. Oh, there we go. I got it. I'm just gonna put this on with my hands. It looks like it has the same tint and texture as the pore minimizing primer, but I'm gonna focus this a little bit more wide. I normally use the pore minimizing primer just around my nose mainly, since that's where I have the pores, usually a little on my chin. But for the hydrating primer, I just want to go places I have some dry spots and just a little bit farther out too. Okay, I went to grab it. This is the one I normally use, the POREfessional Pore Primer. And this has a very slippery feeling to it. If you've ever used it, you can definitely tell it has silicone in it. I actually don't know if it does, but that's what it feels like. And it definitely makes for like a smooth base to add makeup to. This, you can definitely feel the difference. This feels a little bit more like a moisturizer. It has a little bit more of that tacky feeling, but that's pretty popular with gripping primers. So I do feel like this could work pretty well as a primer. I'm excited to see how it wears. And then I just got the mini version of it so you can see the difference in the sizes. I wanted to test it out and see if I like it first before I buy the full size. But I put that on. I'm really liking how it feels so far. I didn't have any noticeable dryness before because I just put my moisturizer on with my skincare, but I can definitely feel that it feels moisturizing. So I think throughout the day, when I would normally start noticing dryness, this might make a difference. I'm excited to see how it wears. Now, for foundation, I actually bought this in one of those vlog videos and I just haven't had a chance to test it out yet. I bought the Bye Bye foundation from IT Cosmetics. I'm interested in this because it has sunscreen in it and I feel like I could always use more sunscreen, but it's also interesting because it says that it's full coverage, and I feel like typically products like this are a little bit more medium to full coverage, so I'm interested to see how that works out. I will say, looking at the color I ordered, it absolutely looks too dark. So I will be interested to see if this is actually the right color for me. I did the thing on Ulta's website where you can put in other foundations that match you, and it told me to get light. But I'm thinking that one shade lighter than this is going to be what I actually want. And I'm gonna do this on the back of my hand and then put it on my face and use a blender, I think, to spread it around. It's interesting being back on camera. I have been doing a lot of skincare and my skin's actually been looking really good in person. I actually have a lot less acne and it really does not look as red and sort of spotty as it does on camera, but it's good to know that sort of in the high definition you can really see kind of the redness and irritation. I've been using my tretinoin and I think that's definitely been irritating my skin, so I've been using some Dermalogica products that are supposed to be pretty barrier restoring, and I'm interested to see once I use those a little longer term the difference in my skin. But yes, as I start to do this, I can definitely see this is going to be too dark on me, so we're going to do a light layer and hopefully lighten it up with some powder, and I might have to get another foundation in here to make it just a little lighter. I will say it is shockingly higher coverage than I was giving it credit for at first. Okay, not terrible once it's blended out, but as you can see, I definitely need a little bit more, I think, to see if the coverage builds up a little bit. I would not call this full coverage. Looking at it in person, it's not quite as shiny, and I would say it looks like it's a little bit higher coverage in person. Like, it is definitely medium coverage, if not medium to full coverage, but it's not full coverage. I definitely have redness, especially over here that you can see. And I don't know if you can really tell, my face is pretty red, but I don't have any really texture on my face. So it's a little bit weird that it's not covering the redness up completely, but I do really like it on my forehead. I think that it has a nice texture to it and it's not highlighting any texture on my skin. I notice around my nose, which is where a lot of the dryness that I have is, it's really smooth. It looks really great. I don't notice any creasing so far there or under my eyes, which I think is awesome. And I don't know if that's this or the primer, but either way, I'm really happy with how it turned out there. In person, it's not quite as shiny, and I'll be interested to see once I powder it to make it a little bit more my skin tone, how shiny or matte it turns out. I was expecting it to be a little bit more of a hydrating dewy look, but I'm not mad that it's sort of a satin finish. That's really my preferred finish right now. So if I could get the right color, I probably wouldn't use the powder just to see. But for today, I'm going to powder it to help it match a little bit better. Okay, this powder is not new. It's actually very old, to be honest, and I probably need a new one. I'm going to use the Fit Me loose powder. I know that this matches my skin pretty well. So if I had a lighter one, I would use it, but hopefully the same as my skin will at least lighten this a little bit. And I'm using this giant fluffy brush that I got in one of the Real Techniques gift sets that I also bought in one of those Vlogmas videos. Okay, I am loving how this looks on camera. It's actually got a much better like satin finish on camera. In person, it's looking pretty dry. Around my nose is still pretty good, but my chin and under my eyes, where I also have some dry skin, is looking a little bit peely with the powder. So I feel like the primer may not have done the absolute best job, but I am really interested sort of in the longer term wear of the primer. I'll have to leave some notes in the description with how this wears throughout the day. But for the finish of the foundation, I am really liking it once it's been powdered on camera. In person, it's a little bit drier looking, so I think if I wasn't filming, I would do it without the powder. Before filming, I'm really excited about this look. Plus, I don't know if this is just me or if everyone feels this way. I feel like when I very first powder my face, I don't like the look. It looks really dry, but then after like an hour or two, that's kind of the perfect time. I almost said the prime time, but I felt like that was too cheesy of a pun. The perfect time for my foundation and how I like the look of it. Okay, I've actually been skipping bronzer a lot recently, and so I feel like that in combination with the fact that I feel like this foundation is just a little bit too dark for me, I'm gonna go straight for blush now. This is one of the Tarte Amazonian Clay blushes that I got in a little gift set. I have used this formula before and I know that I love the formula, but it is a new color. This is Timeless. It's a lot more of a brownish pink, which I'm normally a bright pink kind of girl when it comes to my blushes. So I'm really excited to try this out. I feel like this might be better for sort of a light makeup sort of look, like I'm going for today with the lighter foundation. So I think this will be a little bit more of a natural look with that. I want to know if you guys are New Year's resolutions type of people. I know that some people are really into it. Some people do it sort of just for fun. And then some people just don't really do it because they don't think or they know that they just won't stick to them. I feel like I'm somewhere in between. I like to set them. I like to have some goals, some ideas for the years, but I try not to set anything that is just impossible or be super strict with myself. I don't know what my life is going to look like in 6 months, much less in a year. So I want to have the flexibility to be able to strive for something. But if something goes wrong, if something isn't perfect, if I change my mind about anything, I'm flexible. I'm not too harsh on myself about them. Okay, this blush is lovely. I'm so obsessed with it. It's just a beautiful, very neutral, slightly pink, but still very your skin but better. I feel like this is a perfect color for me. This is what I would love to look like when I blush. I'm definitely someone who turns red when I blush, but this is like a very natural sun-kissed. And I think with the brown undertone, not doing bronzer was perfect because I still get sort of that sun-kissed look from the brown undertones, but it's still pink and a blush on top of my cheeks. So anyway, back to resolutions. My first resolution is always about a reading goal. I love reading, and I really enjoyed reading last year. I was kind of getting back in the swing of things with my school reading. I also wanted to mix in some reading for fun. I read 18 books last year, and this year I want to up it to 20 books. So that's my first resolution for the year. Okay, this is my new highlighter, the Dandelion Twinkle from Benefit. I use the Dandelion blush, and I really like it, so I thought this would be super cute. Plus, any of their stuff that says laughter is the best cosmetic always makes me smile so big. So I will love getting to see that every time I use this. Okay, my second resolution is definitely with this YouTube channel. I want to post regularly. The current plan is to post every other week. And I'm excited about that because that's going to give me plenty of time to work on some actual quality videos while still posting regularly and getting plenty of time to interact with you. And then along with that, I also want to post more on Instagram so that I can have sort of more direct interaction with you all. If you're interested in following me, it's Rebecca Marie. I'll put it on the screen too. And that way I can find out more about what it is that you want to see and be able to give you a little bit more insight into my day-to-day. Okay, this is super nice, very subtle, but I actually kind of like that because I think for me with highlighting, a lot of the highlighters that I have, which I'm sure that this is bad too, but are like leftover remnants from the 2016 to 2018 super shiny highlighter era. And I love highlighter because I really like my cheekbones and my nose, so I want to highlight them, but I don't necessarily want it to actually shimmer when it looks like I'm wearing almost nothing on the rest of my face. So this is a nice in-between. I'm really happy with it. And it's definitely a sort of very neutral champagne color. It's not very pink, even though it looks like it could be sort of from the color of it. It's actually pretty neutral, and it's not too white either, which I have an issue with on a lot of highlighters. So I'm really happy with this product. This is definitely going to be something I want to try again super soon. Okay, loving this so far for the face makeup. I feel like I'm harping on it a lot, but the foundation is sitting really well everywhere that's not sort of a dry spot. So if you have oilier skin and you've tried this foundation, I would really love to hear how it works for you. In the summer, I have pretty oily skin, so I'm interested to see, maybe I'll like it more for that sort of time too. That's also when I like a light foundation look, just so it doesn't feel heavy while I'm hot and sweaty in the summer. So this could be a very good summer foundation, but I'm not necessarily loving it for winter. Okay, my next new item is this Too Faced Shadow Insurance. This is not a new product by any stretch, but it's new to me. I don't use eyeshadow primer very much, but I also think a lot of my eyeshadows move around on my lid, so it could be something that I like adding to my routine. And this has gotten rave reviews for a long time, and I got it for free. I think it was like a free gift with something. So I'm pretty excited to get to test it out and see what I think about it. Okay, it comes on like, you know, a little lipstick wand type of applicator. So I think what I'm going to do is dab it on my eyelid and then use just my finger to spread it around. Hopefully that works okay. Part of the reason I never use eyeshadow primers is there's just no applicator that I actually like to work with. I'm not a fan of the doe foot applicator because it's really hard to be precise, but then whenever it comes in like sort of a squeezy tube, I have a hard time getting it on my finger and then getting it to my eye while actually spreading it around before it dries. So still not my favorite application, but I think I like that better than when it comes in a tube. Okay, my next New Year's resolution is that I want to do a Couch to 5K running program. I don't know if I'm going to like it. So this one is definitely the biggest up in the air maybe type of situation for my resolutions, but I'm really interested in trying because my sister wants to run a Run Disney race, and so I'd love to be able to do that with her. I don't like running. I don't run right now, but I'd like to try it, see if I could possibly like it, and at least do enough training to do one of those races with her. So it's kind of interesting. I'm not like super dedicated to it, but I want to be able to up my running ability just a little bit before I try to do one of those races. Normally, I'm much more of a fan of spin. I love to go on walks. I do like strength training, but running is just not my style. So we'll see if this is something that I actually enjoy and I'm able to feel like I'm doing it for fun and to support my body, or if it just feels miserable, then we'll reassess. Okay, this eyeshadow is not new to me because I'm not going to do anything crazy. Just this Pat McGrath Labs Use Without Caution. Just going to do a little wash of this sparkly color right here, just so that there's a little something on my eyes, draw a little bit of attention, but I don't want it to be sort of the focal point of the look. I love this shadow so much. It's such a fine sparkle that it really just shimmers. It doesn't look like you have glitter on your eyes. It works great as a topper or as just one color to kind of brighten the eye area. Like, look at the difference between my two eyes right now. I just love this color. Okay, great. I'm very impressed with that eyeshadow primer actually. This went on so brightly and so smoothly, so I love that. Sometimes when I use an eyeshadow primer, it helps grip, but you really have to pat on, but this was okay to blend, so I'm really happy with that so far. I'll be interested to see, because this eyeshadow can have a tendency to sort of move into my crease, how this does throughout the day. Again, check in the description for some wear notes to find out what I thought at the end of today about all of these products. Okay, I've got one more tried and true, the Benefit Gimme Brow. I like the mini one because I think the brush is a little bit more precise, but it comes in a bigger size too. And this is just the classic for the eyebrows. So I'm going to do my eyebrows while I tell you about my last New Year's resolution. Okay, last but certainly not least, possibly most important to me, is that I really want to spend this year fostering my friendships and relationships. I moved away from home to go to school, so I have a lot of friends from back home who I love getting to see when I go back. And I do talk with them, but I definitely feel a difference in the level of closeness that we have now that I've moved away. And I think that that's just pretty natural. I don't think that that's a comment on our friendship or anything that's out of the ordinary, but I do miss being super close, being able to talk with them just about every little thing going on in my life, being able to support them through sort of thick and thin. And I want to be able to foster that as much as I can, even though it's from a distance now. I want to journal a little bit more to focus on myself, which sounds like a funny topic when it comes to fostering friendships and relationships, but I think that a lot of times I question myself. And when I say it out loud, it sounds so silly, but hopefully you'll know what I mean. I question whether I'm just bothering my friends and bugging them and adding one more thing to their to-do list to respond to me, or whether they actually would be supported by me talking with them, seeing how they're doing more than I already am. And so I want to sort of work on myself in that way, making sure that I'm confident in myself as a friend, that I'm being a good friend who's actually there. I want to build that idea of having not just a community around you, but something that really strengthens each person in that community. And so I want to be able to be sure that I'm a strong building block in that. And then beyond that, I want to make sure that I'm reaching out more often, not just with a check-in on how someone is doing, but very deliberately seeing what someone needs, what I can do to help them, how I can be there for them even though I'm at a distance, and having those deeper conversations. I think that when we were physically closer, it was more natural for those to start, and being more distant, I feel like I have to be a little bit more intentional. I think that this is something that I feel weird talking about because I feel like it sounds kind of calculated. It sounds like I just don't have any friends, or I'm bad at making friends, or whatever it is. It feels very vulnerable to talk about. But I actually think that this is probably an issue that a lot of people deal with. And that's because it's just hard to make friends after school, after you're not, again, physically close to people all the time. It can be hard. You have to be pretty intentional about it. So let me know kind of what you're thinking, how you're making friends and having adult relationships with people, and seeing how that shifts from sort of your teens to being in your 20s and beyond. I'd love to know if this is something that you've dealt with too, or you feel like you might deal with. Okay, on a totally different note, back to makeup. This is pretty much the reason I wanted to make this video. One thing to know about me is that I love Benefit mascara. It's my favorite thing in the world. I love pretty much every single one they've ever come out with, and they just came out with a new mascara. I'm so excited. I love volumizing mascaras that make me look like I have crazy lashes, and that's probably why I like the Benefit ones. Most of them do give you incredible volume. And this is the Bad Gal Bounce mascara. The bottle is so fun. the tube, not the bottle. You know what I mean. It looks like two little bubbles. So cute and so fun. Now let's open it up and take a look at the wand too. Okay, this is interesting. It's curved on one side with some softer bristles, and then it has some harder plastic bristles over here on the flat side. That's really interesting. I am normally a fan of the hard plastic bristles that Benefit uses on most of their mascaras. This will be interesting that it combines it with sort of that curve. I'm so excited to use this. It's supposed to be a fuller, fluffier, volumizing mascara. So let's see how it does with that. I do have to curl my lashes first. I forgot to do that. I'm filming this at the end of January, so it hasn't been a long time in 2025 to be working on these resolutions, but I have done a ton of reading. I've actually already read 6 books, which is super crazy. I've just been really good about taking 15 minutes or 30 minutes at the end of the day and reading when I have a chance. For this mascara, I'm using the curved part to sort of get the first layer on to really push up my lashes, and then I'm going through with the back just to sort of declump anywhere that looks particularly clumpy. Oh my gosh. Oh, I'm so excited about this. But yeah, I've been reading a lot, 6 books so far, so making great progress on that 20 book goal. If I go over, I won't complain. I will never complain about reading too much. Okay, the other thing I'm noticing is that a lot of times when you take new mascara fresh out of the tube, it's very wet and you have to use it a couple times before it's the right consistency. This is going to be perfect right out of the tube. I am wondering if that'll make it dry out faster, but time will tell. I'll have to use this and see how the formula stands up to the test of time. I don't know if I'm just missing out recently because I've been using that e.l.f. tubing mascara, which I really like that it does not budge, and I have such an issue with mascara smudging on my cheek right here. That e.l.f. mascara does not budge, but it is really not volumizing. It is pretty much just lengthening. So I don't know if I'm just used to that or if this is just the most volumizing mascara I've ever seen. It is also super, super, super black. So if that's something you're looking for in a mascara, this formula is a super deep, rich, pure black. I overdid it a little bit, but whenever I do that, I just take a clean mascara wand and brush it out a little bit to kind of unclump any lashes that I don't want clumped together. Okay, wow. I love that mascara. I am so interested to see how this holds a curl and how it lasts because I am amazed with that first application. Okay, maybe I'm crazy and not everybody feels like this, but everyone has a favorite eye when it comes to mascara, right? No matter what mascara I'm using, this eye that I did first always turns out better than this eye. I don't know what that's about, but every single time I always think that. I don't have any genuine complaints. If I had to come up with something, it would be that on the very end of this wand, it's just completely flat and you can kind of see there's a skip in the bristles on the curved end. And that's just interesting because most of the Benefit wands, part of what I love about it is that the end still has bristles, even if it's super tapered, even on the wider ones. And so you can kind of get in really thin or push up your lashes with the end. And this is definitely missing that, but I kind of can't complain because the curve of that wand just worked so well without kind of getting smudged on the sides. So I'm super excited about this volume and seeing how this holds a curl throughout the day. This is super interesting. I will definitely update you on this and I will definitely be trying this more often as well. Okay, and last but not least, a new lip product. Not new generally, just new to me. I have tried the Clinique Black Honey. What is it called? Better Than Perfect Lipstick? Almost Lipstick. The Black Honey Almost Lipstick. Super popular, super viral, has been super popular. My mom used that lipstick when she was growing up. But I have tried the Black Honey and it is a very distinct color on me. It is a pretty deep red and I don't dislike how it looks, but it's not like a light everyday color. It is pretty deep and distinct. So I got it in Pink Honey, which is a new color that they came out with. It looks pretty bright pink, but I know that the tint can kind of be a lot more sheer once we actually apply it. I'm really excited. I am more of a pink lip than a red lip kind of girl, so this will be interesting to see how much I like this. Oh wow. Okay, so I've just applied it to the top. And you can kind of see it's a very much My Lips But Better kind of shade. I think I've said that twice now in this video, so who knows what I'm talking about. But It's that same smooth, creamy, very moisturizing feeling formula. I am hoping that it wears the exact same as the Black Honey formula and that it just is a wash of color that wears really nicely. It does come off kind of fast, but I think that's just because it's so creamy and smooth and moisturizing, and then it's not a problem to reapply if it's a color like this where it really just matches my lips, as opposed to the Black Honey. When it starts wearing off, you can really tell the difference because it's such a distinct color from my actual lips. Wow, I'm really happy with that. Okay, the foundation at the start of this look gave me a little bit of a start, but ultimately I am really liking this. I can see now that the powder's kind of settled in, the ultimate finish with that foundation is really nice. It's perfect. It still looks like skin, but it is reducing redness in some areas. Not perfectly. I would not call this a full coverage foundation, but fuller than I was expecting for a BB cream type foundation. I just looked up close. It's still clinging to some of the dry spots, so I think that's something to keep in mind. But the eyes turned out so awesome. I'm so obsessed with the eyes. And of course, the lipstick too. I'm really impressed with how this is working out. Ooh, yay, I'm excited. I love when trying new products ends up working out well, especially when I do multiple new ones at once. That can be a little bit of a risk. So I'm impressed with how all of these worked out. I will leave those wear notes, like I said, in the description down below. Let me know what your New Year's resolutions are, and are you pretty strict, pretty on top of them? Are you loosely setting them, or did you not even bother this year? I would love to know. Other than that, thank you so much for watching. I hope that you'll subscribe, join the family, find out what I have coming in the new year, and I will see you in the next video. Bye.